Oh, thank you. Thank you.
There is a recording
system, but the host has to record it.
Your grandson.
And there's Jay. Hi, Jay.
And there's Laura Butzel, who's kept us out of trouble the whole time.
Hello, Laura. Where is she? Hi.
There she is.
Other,
Okay.
it's hard to,
How many people do we have coming on, Sarah, you think?
53.
53.
Yeah, there are 53 right now.
I think we're probably
We're getting close to all the
we're pretty much
criteria.
there.
Greetings
There's-
from California.
No, because not everybody's.
I can't, I don't know if we can we get all 53 on here?
No, I think we should start and they can join. Huh?
I know.
I don't think we can I think we have to probably have the speaker and then all the
Yes.
Oh,
people
okay.
along the top.
Okay.
But maybe we should start.
Yeah.
I mean,
think that's-
there's a gallery view and there's a speaker view. If you put on a
Right.
speaker view, the speakers are blown up.
Oh, okay.
Up at the, oh, that's,
On the upper right-hand corner, there's a view. You just click on that, you can pick.
And
oh,
if you're on gallery view and you want to see everyone else, there's arrows off to the side that will take you to other pages of people in case you can't see everyone all at once.
Do you want us to mute?
I think
I
that would
think that-
probably be a
Yeah.
good idea,
Yes.
Possible.
if you can do that.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody. We are here not only to celebrate Lincoln as part of China Medical Board, but as a person who's been wonderful to so many of us. So we have people associated with China Medical Board, and we have family and friends, as you can see. It's quite an amazing group. So to those I don't know, it's nice to meet you all in this Zoom time. Hopefully one day we can have an in-person gathering too. For those, I don't know if Lincoln, you got champagne, right? This week?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
We got a dozen bottles. Highest
Hopefully
quality.
you haven't finished it.
Yeah, so I don't know what we're going to do with it, but we'll be very happy for quite some time.
So anybody who wants to break out their champagne now, go ahead to enjoy the evening. Those who are in Asia, please break out your tea and coffee. The Oscars this year have been moved to April, and normally they're in February. So to tide you over until April, when the Oscars are, the China Medical Board has put together an almost Oscar quality film. Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep were not available and within our budget. So we had to locate some talent within the CMB family. So we have some emerging talent. And we also have located a very talented producer and editor, Isaiah, who not only told us how to film, he also cobbled together various segments into a wonderful tribute for him. He's just a wonderful person to work with.
I agree.
So I think without further ado, I will turn it over to Isaiah to show the film.
All righty. So let me just quickly share my screen.
By the way, I should mention Isaiah is our grandson, so Alexis and Kyle's son, and he's the oldest of the 6 grandchildren, and he's been doing terrific. Of course, caught up in the COVID transition. Thank you, Isaiah.
Of course, I was happy to help, and I got to hear from so many people who were part of CMB, so it was really, really amazing to have the opportunity to put this together. Can everybody see black screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
cool. Are we ready?
it starts with me and then it goes uphill.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Lincoln, you've been a transformative leader at the China Medical Board. You opened offices in Cambridge, Beijing, and Bangkok. You returned us to the PUMC campus created the Equity Initiative with Atlantic Philanthropies, and changed us from a grant giving to an operational foundation. And you've done so much more than that. If John D. Rockefeller Jr. is the original founder of the China Medical Board, then you are the founder of our second century. Because of you, we are stronger, more relevant, and impactful as we charge into our second century. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in Cambridge, Beijing, or somewhere else on the globe in 2021.
Dear Lincoln, I've been a friend and an admirer for more than 30 years. I've seen you lead in the university and in philanthropy. I've watched you manage in the field and strategize from the center. In everything you've done, you've been a success. You have left every organization better than when you found it. You have the highest standards of excellence for yourself and for your colleagues. You bring people together to collaborate and solve problems jointly. You communicate clearly and effectively. You never lose sight of what's most important. You have the strong values of equity, of population health, of the well-being of everyone always in your heart. And you have the most remarkable combination of personal charisma, guidance, energy, and a boundless appetite for travel. It has been especially a pleasure to see you in your role at the China Medical Board. We have benefited so greatly from the vision you have brought to the organization. We loved working with you at the China Medical Board. Mary and I look forward now to many good opportunities with you and Marty to be together, to travel, to learn, to enjoy one another's company in the years ahead. Thank you for all you have done. You are an inspiration to all of us.
Hey Lincoln, Bill Young here. Just wanted to extend my heartiest congratulations and appreciation on your amazing tenure as president of the CMB. Just to quantify it, I think that's 14 years at the helm, so at least 28 board meetings, 106 official trips on behalf of the CMB, and so I figure that's maybe 1.5 million miles of air travel, or the equivalent of 60 times around the globe. Wow, that's amazing. Your accomplishments were many and varied, from opening up the Beijing and Bangkok offices to overseeing the 100th anniversary celebration in Beijing, an event my wife and I will never forget. It was so amazing. On a personal note, I just wanted to again say thanks for reaching out to me and taking me under your wing. I remember the day you came down to the New York City office to persuade me to join the board. I really didn't know much about it back then, and it was way over my head, but you made the transition so easily, and I really appreciate that. So on behalf of my wife, Julie, I just wanted to extend to you, again, my heartiest congratulations, and wish you and Marty and your entire family all the success in the next phase of your international and extended travels. Take care and look forward to hearing about them in the future.
Hi, Lincoln. Congratulations on your retirement from CMB. I have had such good fortune to work with you for more than a decade. Remember the spicy Hunan food we had together with Zheng Yixun in Beijing some years ago? Well, you were brave and strong. You are a passionate leader and above all, a wonderful human being. Thank you for your dedication, for your numerous contributions to advancing CMB's mission. All of us here on the CMB board, and of course the staff, shall miss you. Please come back to visit us often. Perhaps we can go and have spicy food again. I wish you good health, longevity, and happiness in the years ahead. 谢谢, good luck, and 再见.
It's a pleasure to be able to both congratulate Lincoln Chen and allude to his accomplishments over many years with the China Medical Board. One thing I'd like to emphasize with Lincoln is, yes, he's accomplished a huge amount, has devoted himself to China, Southeast Asia, etc. But one other element to him, which I think is terrific, is he's a lots of fun to be with. He's a good guy to be with on a trip. He enjoys it. He encourages you to do different things you might not have done before. His observations are really worthwhile and enhance the learning experience for any of us with him. He's one of my favorite people to go anywhere with, and it's always been fun, just plain fun, to be with him. He's also got terrifically good taste. And you can see that in the Cambridge office, and you can see that in the Beijing office. His sense of style, a mixture of modernity and tradition linked together in the offices, are terrific and speak to the quality of the organization. It's not just frosting on the cake. It's an integral part of the cake that binds it all together. Let me just also add that I've been a fan of Lincoln's going back decades, and on my bookshelf right behind me is a book that others may not have in their library, but it's a go-to book on disasters, public health disasters, written by Lincoln in about 1973. If there's a disaster tomorrow, this is the book I want with me because it's got the best stuff in there as to what you need to do. So Lincoln can't be easily replaced, we know that, but it's been a pleasure. I've learned a huge amount. I've enjoyed all of our interactions, and best to you in whatever you do in your next role. And I know it won't be relaxing on the beach at Lake Winnipesaukee.
Hi, Lincoln. I still remember like it was yesterday, meeting with you and Tony Sage to introduce CMB. And I'm very grateful for all the opportunities I've had to learn from you and with you, including health policy in Asia, of course, but also learning about MOOCs. And now I have a chance to learn about how to make a self-video at home. I'd like to go down the list of your many accomplishments with CMB, but Sarah only gave me 1 minute, and so there wouldn't be time. But a couple things stick out in my mind. One is the tremendous level of energy that you brought to the position. And with that energy, you were able to honor the legacy of the CMB founders, but at the same time, making CMB very relevant for the new century. It's been a tremendous accomplishment, and it's been an honor to be part of that, especially during the 100th, in addition, of course, to all of the great and very meaningful events, but also the strategic planning process, which I really think you led in a way that helped us to define what CMB is and what it can become. And it really gave us a platform to build for the future. So for that, I'm very grateful. At last, I'd just like to say thank you for your service, for everything you've done for CMB and to support the board. Congratulations on the moment of your well-deserved retirement, although somehow I don't picture you slowing down. That seems inconceivable. And lastly, best wishes to you and Marty, and have a great time, and let's stay in touch. Thank you, Lincoln. Congratulations.
Hello, Lincoln. It has been an honor to serve as a trustee of the China Medical Board under your leadership. Your energy and enthusiasm for CMB's work are infectious and inspiring. And it is exhausting just thinking about all you've done in your tenure as its president. I've been greatly impressed not only with the scope and wisdom of your work, but also with your meticulous documentation of your travels, your meetings, presentations, and much more. While I was not familiar with CMB prior to your leadership, I understand that you brought vast new networks of colleagues from around the world to help enhance and expand CMB's work. Your experience in public health, philanthropy, and international relations has served you and CMB well as its work evolved to meet the challenges of medical education in a rapidly changing China, and made the transition to an operating foundation in order to design, build, and launch the groundbreaking Equity Initiative, which enables CMB to create a diverse and growing community of committed professionals from myriad fields who share a deep commitment to health equity. I also want to use this opportunity to pay tribute to your partner in life, Martha Chen. Though you were legendary at the Ford Foundation when I worked there, the first Chen I got to know was Marty, some years before I met you. I've always been deeply inspired by Marty's visionary and egalitarian leadership of WeGo. And when I was asked to join the CMB board, I was thrilled that I would be able to see Marty more regularly than just the occasional conference. I know that we will miss Marty at our future board meetings and in our travels, but perhaps we can return to Komodo dragons and Balinese temples one day. Thank you both, Lincoln and Marty, for being true leaders and cherished friends.
Hi, Lincoln. I'm going to begin with a brief historic background. Having been elected as China Medical Board trustee in 1979, which was just before the luncheon in New York City to welcome the Minister of Health from the People's Republic of China. That luncheon renewed our relationship and educational programs after a 30-year hiatus. Having served with every China Medical Board president since then, and from this perspective, it's clear to me that Lincoln Chen's tenure as president for the past 14 years has been the most far-reaching and distinguished by any means, even if you go back to 1949. Lincoln developed and set in motion a structure and a strategy that has and will continue to enhance CMB's reputation, guarantee the highest level of excellence in its programs, and have the most significant impact on China and those countries in Southeast Asia where CMB has been active. But above all, Lincoln's exceptional and dedicated leadership, accompanied by an entrepreneurial mentality, will assure the longevity of the China Medical Board in its role to impact the level of healthcare in China and Southeast Asia long into the future. Félicitations.
Hi, Lincoln. I hope this finds you well. I wanted to thank you for all the amazing work you did when you were with the China Medical Board. You really did bring about a profound transformation in the work of the board. As you know, I was on the board before you joined, and in those days, China was very different. The way the board worked was very different. And to a large extent, we were just giving very significant, large, but important grants for medical research and applications, primarily to the elite institutions within China. Of course, one of the things you first recognized was that China was in a very different place by the time you took over, and that the Chinese government itself was able to fund much of that work. And of course, that led to the question, well, where is the niche for the China Medical Board? And I was very impressed with the methodical way that you went about that process, talking to people, understanding the needs, and identifying those areas which were very important, but which were somewhat neglected by the Chinese government itself. I think the other thing that you realized was that China was now at a different point in its trajectory where it had things to offer to the world outside and wanted to engage more fruitfully with the international public health community. And I think we saw tremendous progress in that area. And then last but not least, there was the creation of the network across Southeast Asia and China of a young cohort of people coming through who were really concerned about health equity issues and trying to build a set of generations who would take those understandings into their future careers, and one would hope would network together over the years to come. So I want to thank you again for all the things I learned from you. It was fantastic working with you. I enjoyed every minute. I enjoyed our trips together. And last but not least, I hope that when we get back to some kind of normality, we'll finally have that dinner we promised one another to be together at Barcelona in Brookline. So all the best to you, Lincoln. I know you won't, but I do hope that you'll find some time for a little bit of downtime for yourself and your family. And I want to wish you all the best.
Lincoln, this is an opportunity to join with others in congratulating you on really an extraordinary 14, 15 years with the China Medical Board. When I was chairman of the board, in my swan song to the board, I made a statement in our last meeting, which essentially said that the China Medical Board was in danger of becoming irrelevant. The board, although it done a wonderful job over the previous decades, it was really close to going out of business as an effective organization. And they needed to figure out a way to change the direction and get a new vision for what the role of the board was. And I should have known exactly what the solution was, and the solution was you. I'll say now what I think your major accomplishments were. I mean, there were really two fundamental things you did for the board. The first one was that you had an understanding of the foundation world, and you used that understanding in your contacts with it to get a substantial increases in grants that made the amount of money that was available to do China Medical Board activities much, much greater. The bigger change, however, and the one I think that was really absolutely critical to making the China Medical Board the success it's been over the time of your presidency, is that you changed the focus to a focus on public health. And it isn't just that the public health perspective is less expensive and therefore you can do a lot with relatively little money, but it's also the fact that it tends to be neglected. And in the case of China and Vietnam as well, and to some degree Southeast Asia more generally, having an institution that focused on public health was really critical. And you were able to change the whole direction of the China Medical Board in that way that made it extraordinarily effective. You also brought an international perspective that got people together, it got public health people together. You kept the board not only being relevant, but made it all the more relevant, I think, to the situation, the medical situation and the public health situation in Asia. And finally, I'd simply like to thank you, not only for what you've done for the board, but to thank you for keeping me, at least in a small way, involved with the China Medical Board. I had gone off and I expected really not to have much contact, but you made an effort throughout the years to keep me informed as to what was going on and to get me involved from time to time, including, of course, this past January, where I had really the privilege of being part of your meeting in Thailand, where you brought together 50 or 60 of your younger public health people from all over Asia to interact with each other, the kind of thing that the board had never done before, but was really a wonderful experience for me and really a very fine swan song for what is my last trip to Asia, given that we've now been hunkering here at home, waiting for the vaccine to solve our problems. But again, I thank you profoundly for your personal help with keeping me involved, but I most of all thank you for the wonderful job you've done for the China Medical Board.
My thanks to Isaiah Johnson, who organized this online tribute to his grandfather, Lincoln Chen, and also to the members and the staff of the China Medical Board itself. My only regret, and it is really deeply felt, is that we aren't together to mark this occasion. I remember well the many discussions about a new president for the China Medical Board. We were happy with the work of Lincoln's predecessor, Roy Schwartz, but we knew we needed a change agent for the future. The China Medical Board's endowment was not designed for growth, but we knew that China itself, especially, was growing by leaps and by bounds. Change for the future was needed. I was privileged to serve as chair until 2014, and I saw many of the changes. And let me just mention a few. Lincoln worked closely with members of the board, taking them on many trips to Asia and always drew on their expertise. He maintained close relations with Asia's medical leaders, even as the institutions changed and the medical needs of the countries themselves changed. Lincoln shifted the China Medical Board from grant making to an operating foundation. And in the process, he made sure that we kept our focus on health equity. Lincoln also kept in touch with China on key issues, even as Southeast Asia became more important. Lincoln Chen always worked harder than anyone else, and this all-consuming love of the China Medical Board was communicated in many different ways. No region in the world has changed as much as East and Southeast Asia. We are fortunate indeed that Lincoln Chen was at our helm. Thank you.
Hello, Lincoln. I'm so pleased to be able to participate in this celebration of your remarkable tenure as president of the China Medical Board. But I have to tell you at the outset, I take some personal pride in this event, having chaired the search committee that brought you to this position in the first place. Clearly, looking back over the past 15 years, having convinced the board to pick you to succeed Roy Schwartz was one of the very best things I ever did. So, Lincoln, I thank you, if for nothing else, for validating the judgment that indeed you would be a great president of this foundation. But of course, there's much more for us to be thankful for tonight, and that is your remarkable tenure as president, which is what we're here to celebrate, albeit virtually. But there's another aspect of your tenure that I want to take special note of, and that is the quality of the personal relationships that you were able to establish with virtually everyone with whom you came in contact with in pursuing the mission of the foundation. Indeed, I think your many successes in achieving the goals of the foundation can in very substantial part be credited to the warm friendships that you were able to establish with government officials, with university presidents, with CMB grantees, with the CMB staff, and perhaps most notably with the CMB board itself. Thanks to you, the CMB board is as much family as it is corporate governance. And I can tell you, being a member of the CMB board is much more fun than it has any right to be. Which brings me to my last thank you. Thank you, Lincoln, for the opportunity to travel with you to China on so many occasions and to engage in the work of the China Medical Board. It's been a real privilege to do so, and it's been one hell of a lot of fun. So Godspeed. Enjoy the rest of your remarkable life. Bye-bye.
Lincoln, it's just such a privilege to be part of this ceremony for you, but it brought to mind a quote that's on a church in Sussex, England, and it goes, "A vision without a task is but a dream. A task without a vision is but drudgery, but a vision and a task is the hope of the world." And Lincoln, to me, your work in CMB and your vision for it really has combined hope for many in this world. I think you also brought your relentless energy, your passion for task, and your love of people and wanting things to be better to your work. I can recall a couple of significant moments for me along this journey that you let me participate in. The first one being the Westlake conferences, where you really kicked off the work of the CMB and getting it more involved in public health. And it was just a wonderful conference, but it spawned not only a series of conferences, but a renewed commitment to public health in the country. I think the other meeting I remember with great fondness was the one in Hoi An, where we were in Vietnam with so many colleagues from around Southeast Asia, really talking about pulling together the Lancet to describe the health in Southeast Asia. But that also spawned the really substantive and significant relationships that we built then through the Atlantic Philanthropy and now our work together with them. And then finally, I would think of Myanmar. You introduced me to risk-taking and an adventure that I thought I would never have. And that was flying into a country before it was open without a visa in hand and watching the plane that brought us in take off and still no visas and wondering, how are we going to get out of here? But I guess it was nearly a week, almost 10 days that we spent touring the country really opened my eyes to the many needs in health, the great people that we met, and the joy of being a fellow traveler with you. So many memories of all of our retreats where we planned what was going to come next that we held in so many wonderful places here in this country. Well, for all of that and for all you've done for CMB, Lincoln, I thank you and I toast you and I wish the very best for you and Marty. Thank you very much.
Lincoln, congratulations on your many successes as president of CMB. You have sustained CMB's relevance in China, even as our financial resources became a smaller fraction of total resources available to our partner schools in China. You have sustained important relationships to these academic medical centers while not failing to pay attention to lesser institutions in rural China, in Tibet, and in neighboring countries like Myanmar. You have pushed us ahead in making progress where opportunities were available to us in China, especially when those opportunities echoed the needs of the world in making progress in global health. I'd like to offer my thanks and congratulations on a job well done, friend and colleague Bravo.
I've known Dr. Lincoln Chen for a long time, whose work is to help promote public health and health equity in many countries, including Thailand. I was glad to have opportunity to meet and exchange ideas and experience with Dr. Lincoln Chen in the field of public health and admired his friendly personality. Dr. Lincoln Chen is a kind of big-hearted person, and I'm very much impressed by his care and determination to help improve the health and welfare of the people from all walks of life. Dr. Lincoln Chen has agreed entirely to support the Visiting Professor Project of Sri Savarindra Thai Red Cross Institute of Nursing in Thailand, and I'm greatly thankful for that. Thus, I will try the best I can to make use of his support productively for maximum benefits and will always preserve our priceless friendship. On this special occasion, I would like to offer Dr. Lincoln Chen my sincere best wishes for his excellent health, happiness, and longevity.
Hi, Lincoln. Congratulations on entering your new phase of life. Whatever you may define your new phase of life to be, I have been blessed with knowing you and learning from you, for the last 30 years plus, from essential national health research to the more recent good ideas of creating health justice. But of course, not only technically that I get to learn from you, but also the humane side of you have also been very inspiring for me. So I'm very sure that you'll be going into your new phase of life in a strong way, combining or balancing your actions to improve better global health, as well as developing your own spiritual dimension if you believe in the Indian stage of life of Sannyasi. So all the best, Lincoln. I'm very sure that you continue to be an active global citizen for better health through whatever channels that you have had developed, and also find time to develop your spiritual health. And of course, I'll continue to learn from you and be working with you whenever you would like me to be. All the best, Lincoln.
Hi from Bangkok. Thank you so much, Lincoln, for the wonderful opportunities you've given me to work for you and for CMB. It's, I think, more than 10 years now that I'm really privileged to get to learn so much. We got to see firsthand and be trained by you how to be strategic in our approach, how to be systematic in how we work, and very importantly that we need to build partnerships and try to get a collective effort when we do things. And we get to see results. I think our partners in the region are very happy and very thankful for your dedication and your support to them. And we ourselves in our office also get adjusted to be working hard under pressure, at the same time trying to be focused and trying to get the results to high quality level that you set the standard for us. So overall, I think it's a really privilege and thanks so much. We still look forward to see you and Marty when you come to the region, so please let us know, and looking forward to seeing more of you in the region. Thank you, Lincoln.
Congratulations, Lincoln, on this wonderful occasion of your retirement. Although we've only known each other for a short time, 5 or 6 years, I consider myself to be really fortunate to have known you and to be able to work with you to establish this equity initiative together with colleagues at CMB. The equity initiative is really an exciting undertaking that I have been involved with in my lifetime, and I'm so proud of what we have accomplished together. Thank you for bringing the love and passion to the project that you do every day, and the fellow to a person really appreciate what you've done for EI and for them as individuals. And while we've not always seen things eye to eye, I think I've learned the most from you through this tension, because you really push me beyond my usual comfort zone. And for that, I'm really grateful. Knowing you, I know that you will not be satisfied with this usual course of retirement, of relaxing and taking it easy. So the EI staff and I hope to continue to benefit from your wise counsel and your friendship for many years to come. So here's to the best chapter ahead of you, and hope to see you real soon in Southeast Asia.
Lincoln,
It's hard to believe you are finally retiring now. People know both you and me will be surprised that I have not left CMB before you. I want to use this hard-earned, valuable opportunity to appreciate what I learned from you as a visionary leader. People know CMB's history, credit you for one of the CMB major accomplishments in 21st century, setting up a field office in Beijing. We at the CMB Beijing office have learned and appreciate you as public health giant and the master of the political wisdom and the academic scholarship. We also learn a great deal from you about the attention to detail. Now our Beijing staff not only can interpret Lincoln's framework on graduate medical education, but also practice Lincoln's methodology of a seating arrangement for VIP dinners. Lincoln, we wish you happy, healthy retirement life. If you're not that busy after December 31st, 2020, it'd be good for you to pick up your mother tongue Chinese. We trust you can do it as anything you are determined to accomplish.
What good fortune that I attended a Harvard School of Public Health reunion lunch almost 6 years ago that Sarah Wood also attended. Since that led Sarah to set up a meeting between you and I, Lincoln, and our meeting led to my getting a position at the China Medical Board. I've had the good fortune during most of my career of working in organizations that have both had important missions and also great leaders and co-workers. I felt very lucky to have joined China Medical Board, where both are true. I have really appreciated the opportunity to work with you, Lincoln, actually again, since we worked together years ago at the School of Public Health, and to help be part of China Medical Board's success. You have been a great mentor, teaching me how to run a foundation effectively and efficiently, and you've also done an amazing job of focusing the work of CMB in key areas of health and demonstrated that one can make a large impact even with limited financial resources. You have amazed us all with your endless energy, including your ability to be on the road almost more than you are at home. You are a true phenomenon. I will miss you and CMB will miss you. Wishing you all the happiness in the years ahead. Thanks for all you have done, and I look forward to seeing you from time to time in Cambridge, to continuing to hear about your most recent ideas and insights about the state of global health and what's needed to create and build a better future. And of course, to seeing you somewhere, sometime across the aisle on a long-haul flight to a distant land. Thanks, Lincoln, and all the best.
Hi, Lincoln. It's been an interesting and enjoyable 10 years working with you at CMB. I'm always amazed at your incredible knowledge of people and places around the world, especially in China, India, and Southeast Asia. As I mentioned, I think you should record your knowledge on paper and perhaps a very long video. That would help me and us remember. You know so many people and so much in-depth history. It would be really nice for me to have and also to add to the CMB archives. I will also miss the humor. We do have a very comfortable group in the office. We laugh a lot with and at each other. I think that we all get along so well and we get our work done too. I hope we will keep in touch. I will miss you and I will miss Marty. Hugs to both of you and keep traveling.
Lincoln, it's wonderful to be part of this celebration in your honor. What an amazing career dedicated to public health and to global health. Your work in Bangladesh, India, throughout Southeast Asia, in the US, and of course China, has always emphasized the public good, health policy, health education, thoughtful research, and health equity to support and promote improved health for all. You have a unique combination of searing intellect, academic rigor, commitment to others, personal warmth, and the ability to focus on what's important. Along the way, you've made many friends, fostered innumerable collaborations, and encouraged so many careers. For 14 years, you've been the jewel in the crown of the China Medical Board, upholding and recrafting for the modern era the values, mission, and vision of the foundation. It's hard to think of CMB without you. On a personal note, thank you for recruiting me to Bangladesh to work at ICDDRB early in my career, a life-changing time for my husband, Roger Glass, and for me. And thank you so much for encouraging me to take on my new role at CMB. I'm very grateful to you. You're leaving an indelible mark on CMB, an impossible act to follow, with big shoes to fill, even for someone who wears high heels. Those of us who've marveled at the breadth of your many contributions can only imagine what the next chapter of your remarkable career will be. Stay well, congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Isaiah, for putting that film together. I hope all of you really enjoyed it. There were wonderful tributes, and it's really a testament to Lincoln. Lincoln, before we give you the floor, I'm going to ask Harvey to moderate a sort of comments from people who weren't in the video. But before I do that, I want to express a special welcome to Her Royal Highness, who's just joined us, and thank her for the wonderful clip she sent and also for attending tonight and for all she has done to support CMB and all the hospitality she has shown us through many years. And we also wish her a speedy recovery from her recent injury.
Wendy, thank you so very much, and greetings to all. Her Royal Highness, it is a special pleasure to see you among so many wonderful friends. All of us feel such a close attachment to the mission of the China Medical Board, to the well-being of the people of China and of the region of Southeast Asia, a sense of attachment through Lincoln to one another, as well as to Lincoln and Marty themselves. We had an opportunity in the video to hear from many, but not nearly all of us, and I have to say, not from the family. So I'm especially eager to invite additional comment from any who did speak in the film, and especially comment, observation, reflection from others who are here with us and did not have a chance to record for the film. So may I say, Her Royal Highness, is there anything additional that you would like to say at this time?
I always feel grateful to Lincoln, especially when he helped our Institute of Nursing. Of course, we have a lot of problems due to COVID-19. We have in the world, because now the teaching have to be mostly online, which is not very easy for us, especially we are a nursing institute and the students have to work with their real patients, but now we reduce the hours of working with patients and using online treatment. So some of the modern technology, but anyway, with the help of Lincoln and I will try my best. I promised that we will try our best and to keep up your health, and we hope that we have the opportunity to get more advice from Lincoln. And now I would like to express my wish for Lincoln to continue having good health and happiness. Your endeavor, or you said that you retired from China Medical Board, but of course we have a lot of ideas to give to everybody all around. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I see so many dear friends here, and I have to say, because of the limitations of the screen technology, I know I cannot see everyone at the same time, but I do see in the corner of my screen Amartya Sen and Emma Rothschild. And I know that Amartya and Emma have been very close to so many of Lincoln's adventures and misadventures over the years. I wonder if I might turn to you for your comment at this occasion. Amartya and Emma.
You want to speak that?
Well, I haven't seen any misadventures in I think 30 years of working with Lincoln, but I found the remarks so moving, and I had so many more stories I could add, and maybe just to say that Lincoln at China Medical Board has, among other things, supported the most extraordinary history of public health in Southeast Asia, which some of you know about, and including work by some of the greatest historians of medicine in the world, and work that is of sometimes has been of uncanny relevance to the events of the past year. So thank you for your breadth of humanistic as well as humanitarian interests, Lincoln. Amartya.
Well, I make lots of mistakes, misadventures I'm a specialist in, but I think I did one very good decision making. When I first moved to Harvard, I moved at the same time as Lincoln did, returning from India. So I knew him slightly in Delhi, I met him. And so it lifted my life in being in Harvard. And I was a single parent. My wife had died, and I had single parent of young children. And it was absolutely wonderful to have the company of Lincoln, varying from serious discussions in the POP Center, the Population Center, as well as having dinner in restaurants of his choice, which varied in quality a certain amount. And I think I Lincoln about health transition chicken that was offered to us in the faculty club. I think that is a memorable food experience that I had. But of course, there was this wonderful food to have with Lincoln at his home and with Marty at their home and elsewhere. Now, to me, the CNV came later. That's not the institution I associated him with. That he came to me as the Pop Center guy, and it was already a distinguished center in many ways, but it became extraordinarily productive, new, fertile, generating ideas across the world in a way that I have almost never seen an institution getting transformed. I got some idea of Lincoln as an innovator, while I was I already had two departments. I was professor of economics and that of philosophy, and I had rooms there, and I had students in philosophy and in economics. But I used to spend a great deal of time in the Pop Center, so much so that I created an illusion myself that I worked there. And I remember one occasion making a mistake when somebody said, "Where do you work?" So I said, "Well, economics and philosophy and the pop center." And then I was asked, "What appointment do you have in the pop center?" So I said, "Appointment? No, I don't think actually I have an appointment there, but I have a friend there. And I go there 2 or 3 times a week to chat about new things." And Lincoln was producing not only directly about population, about health, about development, about the world in general, things that made the pop center kind of center of my thinking about development. And then, of course, at some stage, he moved on and then moved to the China Medical Board. I is now retiring from there. So I'm so used to the idea that Lincoln is like one of those ancient archers, like Arjun or someone, who arrives there, he takes on an institution, transforms it, and then moves on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what institution now Lincoln will take on and transform that. And I know that a lot of things are already going on across the world, Asia in particular. And so as someone who believe in this, who belonged to the school, that Lincoln couldn't be let go. We have to hold him on. I'm not looking at what he had done in CMV, which is of course great, what he did in the Fox Center, which is great, but what he is going to do now, and what he is going to transform in the way he has a habit of transforming places and making a change in the way we in the social sciences think about society, about health, yes, but also our economic life, our social life, our cultural life, everything. So Lincoln, I wish you warmest greeting and great success in whatever it is next you're going to do. And that I'm extremely curious about, namely, what is it going to be? I know it's going to be something which will be transformational. And that is my good fortune is that since 1987, when I moved along with Lincoln to Harvard, my life has been so much enriched by Lincoln and Marty, and by the fact that never had a dull moment because of the lack of dullness in the life that the thought, the concerns that Lincoln had as someone who has really benefited from that in an enormous way. I remain grateful, but gratefulness is not enough. I want to get more and get more from whatever Lincoln is now going to teach us to do. And I very much look forward to that, Lincoln, and my warmest good wishes for that. Thank you.
Well, Marta and Emma, thank you so very, very much for those wonderful, heartfelt remarks. I do think a secret for you and for Lincoln is the fact of always looking ahead. Perhaps for the misadventures, I will have to turn to Richard Cash and Stella. But Richard, I wonder if you might be willing to offer a perspective on your dear friend, your colleague of many years, your co-traveler, Lincoln.
It's kind of hard to sum up 50 years or whatever the hell it is. You know, I was just thinking, I think about things like watching the Patriots play Oakland and the the non-forward pass. Now, I know this is not part of this China Medical Board thing, but we're very similar. We don't like to watch really tense games because we get so nervous. So we turn off the television and we do other things to avoid the tension of these kind of events. No, but 50 years is, we've been through an awful lot. I don't think Lincoln gets nearly the credit that he deserves for what a lot of people have talked about, institution building, and also the building of people's careers. There are so many people who are now leaders in international and global health who really were transformed by their experience with Lincoln and by his believing in their ability. Lincoln told me many years ago, look at the job of a leader of something, foundation, department, center, whatever it is to find good people and then to give them the reins to express themselves. That's really what the job is. And I think he's done that in so many institutions, identifying the right people and getting them to, giving them the ability to express themselves. That is not an easy thing to do because it means that you have to put your ego aside and allow others to fill that space. And it's a very, it's an uncommon trait. And for that, he really should be celebrated. But again, my memories really are less of the China Medical Board than just kind of hanging out at Bear Island and on Dean Road and God knows wherever else we've traveled together with Marty and Lincoln and myself and then Stella and so on. It's been a wonderful journey, and maybe we'll have a bit more time together. I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Marty, I don't want to put you on a spot, but there's so many family members here whom I do not know. Is there any that you would put on the spot for me and ask if they want to comment? I mean, we can always go back to Isaiah. I know he's always ready, but I wanted to turn to you.
Well, thank you very much, Harvey, and of course, all of the CMB family for this. And I just want to say before I pass it on to a family member that I will truly miss the CMB family. We've had such a wonderful privilege of getting to know all of you and traveling with you. So I'm feeling a little sentimental saying goodbye to the CMB family. But I thought maybe we should call on Lincoln's older brother, Arthur, who was there at the beginning, and his thoughts about seeing his middle brother. I mean, Victor is also here. Just Lincoln's career and the fact that this chapter has taken him back to China and what Art thinks about that and his brother. So Arthur.
Well, Marty, I said I was going to prepare something, and you just it. But I will just tell you what I think I should say.
Okay.
First of all, I don't know if any of you know about our family. Probably not. Do you know anything about Lincoln's background before Harvard?
A little bit.
Okay. Our parents were unusual. My father got his PhD in international law at Harvard in the 30s under Professor Arthur Holcomb, who I was named for. Now, Arthur Holcomb, that's a pretty good pedigree because Arthur Holcomb supervised the thesis of Kissinger and JFK. And he studied international law because at that time, the feeling was international law was a way to promote world peace. He wanted to be a doctor, but his teacher suggested that he should study something else to help a lot of people. So there's a genetic component to that. My mother was very intelligent, and she came here, landed in New York City with $5 in her pocket, meeting my mother, and they got married. I was born in Boston. We went back to China in 1941, right before Pearl Harbor, after they got their degree. And my parents were in politics he actually was a aide to the prime minister and was involved with a negotiation with the communists. He also was in foreign ministry, was head of the American desk. That was his last position. My mother was part of a member of the National Assembly, which was the Constitution in 1947, and they elected Chiang Kai-shek as a president. And it was, and the one who my parents supported, the Sun Kuo, who was son of Sun Yat-sen, was supported by Chiang Kai-shek, but he lost due to whatever politics there is. So given that his sponsor was out, and we were afraid of the China communist invasion of Taiwan in 1949, my parents decided to come back to the United States. What he got was a salary-free or zero salary position as a member of the Chinese delegation to the UN. This is a little sad, but not Holcomb, but another professor at Harvard did not encourage him to stay, tell him to go back to China to help to build a new China. So I think there was some misunderstanding of what communists were, but my father knew because he was in Jiangxi, where the communist Long March started. He knew what the communist was like. But anyway, he opened a export-import business, and later on, when we went off to school, he went back and finally got a job at Central Connecticut University. He was a professor, and actually he wrote a small treatise on international organization and promoted a Confucius view of international relations. Now, Lincoln's very unusual because, unlike most of us, he was into aesthetics when we were young. And really, it's the personality and genes, okay? My mother told me, and also everybody knows that he knows how to, he makes friends easily. He was probably the only Chinese that was admitted to the exclusive eating club in Princeton. What is that? Which one was that, Lincoln? I forgot. I'm my age. And
Ivy Club.
Ivy Club. And the most interesting part was, we had this career aptitude test. And Lincoln's aptitude made him, this is really funny, but he's really on track for his career. He was to be a YMCA director. So, I mean, I think you know about the rest of his career.
Arthur, you filled in the blank that for many of us was
there's more to go, but I think as far as up to the college days, you probably should. I will not embarrass Marty because at their wedding, they celebrated their wedding anniversary. I told a little story about Lincoln's romance, but that's another story.
Yes, maybe that can save for the after party conversation.
Thank you.
Arthur, thank you. And I'm sure Lincoln is grateful you stopped when you did, because family certainly would need to have a rebuttal later. At this point, I have to go back and ask Wendy if we have time for one more comment or if it's time to move to.
You can do one more, yeah.
One more. Okay, Marty, who else would you suggest?
Well, I think what I would do is say I will call on my brother, John Alter, somebody from the Alter family. And John Alter happens to be with his wife, Bet, in Kunshan, outside of Shanghai. They're speaking from China. John Bai.
Lincoln, I will speak to you as your brother-in-law, and I will just tell a very quick story about when I first met you. we were living in Princeton, New Jersey, and Marty had a blind date, if I'm correct. And that blind date was going to come to the apartment where we were living and was going to pick Marty up and take her off to whatever event. So my brother Tom and I was then in high school, Tom was in middle school. We of course were completely, dazzled by the idea of a blind date. We didn't really quite know what a blind date was, but we thought that we would, what's the right word, ambush the blind date. And so we like waited at the door, and the doorbell rang, and there at the door was the young Lincoln Chen. Now, Tom and I were, we had a healthy skepticism about all things, but Lincoln almost immediately dazzled us, because at that point he was known by his friends as Twinkle Toes. And that meant that he was not only a very good dancer, but he was also an athlete, and just, he had a kind of, we were rather dazzled. And we found ourselves, rooting for the relationship to take root and flourish. And now, lo and behold, all of these years later, we are the beneficiaries of knowing Lincoln. And I would just close with the words which Amanda Gorman, in her poem on January 20th, she quoted scripture, and I know that all of us have these kind of thoughts in mind. But she quoted this: that you shall sit under your own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make you afraid. So Lincoln, we think of you and Dean Road and Bear Island as fig tree and vine, and we think of you sitting there. And as everybody has said, that thought doesn't last very long. I don't imagine you will be stationary, sedentary, or dull. So thank you for being a great brother-in-law, partner to Marty, friend. You are awesome. Thank you.
Thank
And
you,
I should add that my brother John is a poet and writes poems for all family occasions and for non-occasions as well. The poetry flows out of him. So it was nice for him to quote Amanda. Thank you.
Well, Marty, thank you so much. And thank you, John. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Marta and Emma. Thank you to all who contributed to the film and all who are present. It's true, we're not literally together. At the same time, I have to think that if it were a physical gathering, perhaps not all of us could have attended in the same way, and to partake and experience the love and fellowship that I believe all of us must feel so deeply through Lincoln and Marty and all they have done for the China Medical Board and throughout their careers. So, Wendy, I'm going to turn it back over to you for the next phase of our program.
And before I turn it, thank you, Harvey, so much. And before I turn it over to Lincoln, I do want to let Lincoln know that President Zhang Shuyang, the head of Peking Union Medical Hospital, sent in a wonderful tribute letter that we will share with you later. But Lincoln, we're going to give you the floor finally.
Oh my God. I'm totally flabbergasted by this ceremony, and my comments will be brief. Obviously, I can't cite everybody, but what a wonderful occasion for me to remember the history and the people involved in my 14 and earlier years with the China Medical Board. I want to thank Her Royal Highness in particular, because it was a total shock and surprise to me, because as you know, I have valued CMB and the Rockefeller family relations to your grandfather, Prince Mahidol, from the beginning, and I have admired your interest in China, including your speaking Chinese and writing Chinese stories for the Chinese audience. So it's been a real privilege and an amazing, wonderful relationship that we've cultivated over the years. And so thank you very much for joining. I also want to acknowledge my India roots, Amartya Sen and Emma Rothschild. Thank you very much for joining, because, you know, we were last week, Emma's book, Infinite History, was released, and it was what a wonderful book. And Amartya, we've gone back all the way to India and to Bengal earlier, which is one of the roots of Marty's and my history. The family members being here is a wonderful occasion. I'm sorry that I was traveling 5 months of the last 14 years, which is what I calculated. And but the family has done very well. Greg and Alexis and the children, thank you very much for putting up. I know that Marty has traveled as much as me, so, and then all of the dear friends and colleagues. I want to just say in conclusion that I feel like I've been at the cusp of history, because the 21st century is an Asian century. And I've been privileged to watch the momentum move from the United States, where we are all based now, most of us are based, to Asia and to China, and also Southeast Asia in particular. Each of these societies in China and South Asia confront a series of challenges right now. And I feel privileged to have gotten to witness the changes, but also to make friends with Chinese and Southeast Asians, especially Thais, in the evolution of the 21st century. So I'm going to depart by saying thank you all for this wonderful celebration, but also I look forward to the evolution of the 21st century, where China and Asia will emerge for good or for bad, and for whatever the permutations are, of being the center of the world again in the 21st century. So thank you all very much, and I appreciate all of this. By the way, 50% of what you said is not true, so I put a discount on all of that. But in any case, thank you all very much. And thank you, Wendy, but also Tony and Dwight, previous chairs, and Harvey, who was always a favorite to be chair but couldn't do it, for the CMB board support.
Thank you. I think the comments were just the tip of the iceberg, Lincoln. I think if we let people go on a half an hour, there would have been a lot more wonderful stories and such. So we have a few small tokens of appreciation to present to you. I think so that Barbara and I are going to present to you on behalf of the trustees and staff. First, you will be getting a flash drive of the long version of the video that Isaiah will be presenting to you. It's like the director's cut.
Thank you.
And we thank him again. And there should be a large box that Marty's bringing into you. So please open it.
Very
Oh.
So put it in your lap.
Yes.
Very heavy and delicate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll help hold it up.
I think I know what it is.
I think you do know what it is.
Yeah.
So I will tell those of you who aren't part of the China Medical Board family, we have a tradition of giving retiring trustees and presidents a roof tile figure that resembles the roof tiles at Peking Union Medical College in Beijing. So, and I think Lincoln, you helped us get this. We were running out of them, I believe. We had an emergency.
But you know, I should say that Wendy's great-grandfather, John D. Rockefeller Jr., he had the vision for the China Medical Board and the PUMC that we should modernize and be at the cutting edge of medical science and hospital delivery, but also preserve and enhance the beauty and architecture of China. And so the whole PUMC building in which we're embedded reflects that ethos, which I think has moved me and the office. But here is the
Ta-da!
Wow. My goodness. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's solid.
You don't get the building underneath it.
You have to put it on your roof. It is a dragon.
But the PUMC has this wonderful history of
Wow.
bringing up to date the Ming Dynasty, the Qing Dynasty, and this is one of the roof tiles. Thank you very much. This will be treasured, obviously. Yeah.
Definitely. It is a dragon.
Here, I can hold it. Can you see better?
Yes, perfectly. Everybody can see. It's a dragon, and the dragon symbolizes the emperor, power, and dignity. And Lincoln, you've been our emperor for 14 years. We've been like the pesky officials and scholars to bug you all the time. The dragon's also associated with water, so it will protect your house from fire.
Thank you. Terrific.
Now,
I want to put it away very carefully.
yeah, it's heavy. I was worried that the dragon was going to be lonely.
Oh.
So I also got you a tile, but the one I got you is this. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's a fish. But unfortunately, instead of sending me the fish tile I wanted, they sent me an immortal sitting on a chicken. I'm like, that's not what I wanted. So I picked the fish for you, which you will again get eventually, because you can see how vigorous and lively he looks, which is definitely what you are, vigorous and lively. He also has to travel against the current, which is very much like you. And he travels a lot, which is also what you've done for CMB. So hopefully very soon you will have a fish tile on your door, and he will also protect against fire. He's a water element. And it means, of course, he also is a symbol of abundance, because we want you to have abundance in your retirement in whatever you do. And now I'm going to turn it over to Barbara, who has a gift to present too.
Yeah, I have the great pleasure, really special pleasure, of announcing the Lincoln C. Chen Lectureship in Global Health, which is being presented to you by the CMB trustees in honor of 14 years of really transformative leadership. We look forward to planning the annual event together with you and to celebrating with you at the inaugural lecture, which hopefully will be able to be in person. Marty's bringing in the official framed document for you, which we hope you'll open. And maybe while you're opening that, I'll just make some personal comments. Many of you know that I first met Lincoln many, many years ago when he recruited Roger and me to go to Bangladesh. By serendipity, I recently found a document that was presented to you, Lincoln, when you stepped down as scientific program head and director of MATLAB station at ICDDRB.
Oh, no.
We'd need several glasses of wine to tell you how I actually found it. But reading through that farewell served as a reminder that for your entire career, you've been a beloved and respected leader. And I thought I would just read a few comments, but we should actually first look at the screen for your, let me read a few comments and then you can show us the screen. You are a noble soul and true lover of humanity. Your magnanimous heart, magnetic character, charming personality, versatile genius, and above all, your unusual capability in making quick and right decisions, both scientific and administrative, fascinated us all. So I think this reflection, which was written 40 years ago, could have been written for today's celebration. I hope it makes you and Marty smile. Congratulations. And I can't wait for the first Lincoln Chen lecture in global health.
Thank you. I have to tell you how unbelievably pleased I am that Barbara has agreed to be the president of China Medical Board. I think it's a huge appointment that speaks well for the China Medical Board, but also for the issues that we care about in China and in Southeast Asia, including Thailand. And Your Royal Highness, I hope that I'll have the chance to introduce Barbara to you when we next convene in Bangkok. Her husband is not unknown in Thailand, Roger Glass, who was one of my medical school, Harvard Medical School friends. So it's a small family, and it's wonderful that Barbara is taking the lead. And I feel very confident the China Medical Board will go on to even higher and better heights under Barbara than it has been in the past. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lincoln.
Congratulations, Lincoln.
Oh, Marty wants me to show this again. Thank you. By the way, I should tell you, in my career, the days I spent down in MATLAB, Roger will know this, were the best days of my life. I went down there, I did field work in the villages of Bangladesh, and it gave me a grounding of all the things I've done ever since. So all the stuff with the UN or China Medical Board, Rockefeller, Ford, Harvard, and all that was grounded in those visits down in MATLAB that Barbara recounted. Thank you.
Thank you, Lincoln. You changed our lives.
I would like to now raise a toast to Lincoln with a quote from Edith Wharton. There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. So I want to toast Lincoln as the candle for CMB and allowing all of us to reflect your light for all these years. To Lincoln, Ganbei.
Thank you, Ganbei, Ganbei.
All the best.
And don't be a stranger now. Thank you to everyone for joining us and making this evening so special. It's great to meet you.
I'm totally.
I want to know the family better.
Good
stories.
A great farewell. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lincoln. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Thank you, CMB.
Don't go out.
We're all waving goodbye.
Bye.
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 Thank
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Harvey, for emceeing.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
And thank you, John Lipton, for being the behind the scenes MC.
Happy to do it. Congratulations, Lincoln.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Take care.
Bye.
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 That's the gentle way of doing it.
Yeah. There's Greg.
Did a nice job, huh? Yeah.
Greg.
Hi,
Greg. Hi, Greg.
Hello, Greg. Hello, Greg.
Hi, friends, all friends.
Hi.
Great to see everybody.
Hi.
Yeah.
Poirier.
Yeah.
No, right.
Poirier, you're up
Take
late.
care.
You're up much too late, Poirier. Please go
Oh,
to sleep.
quite wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night.